I never thought I'd be the guy sitting here writing about how my wife Lisa betrayed me. It's like a bad movie I can't turn off. We had our issues, sure, kids, work stress, the usual stuff. But I genuinely believed she loved me. Or at least I thought I did. We've been married for 7 years, and for the most part I thought we had a decent life. Nothing spectacular, but we managed. Then everything changed after my brother's funeral. My brother, Mike, died suddenly, a heart attack out of nowhere. It hit me hard, and I knew Lisa was trying to be supportive. She insisted she was just working late the night of the funeral. I believed her. She said she needed to catch up on some projects at her job, and I trusted her because she's always been the one to keep her word. I even told her how much I appreciated her being there in that tough time. Looking back, I realized that should have been the first warning sign. Her excuses started piling up, and she became more distant, but I chalked it up to grief and stress. The signs were subtle. At first, she was secretive about her phone, always hiding it when I entered the room. She'd get defensive if I asked about her late hours, but she was bitchy about it, snapping at me, saying I was paranoid or insecure. She told me I was imagining things, that she was just working late because her boss, James, was pushing for a big project. She'd say things like, "It's none of your business," or roll her eyes when I tried to question her. I trusted her, or at least I wanted to. I kept giving her the benefit of the doubt because I loved her, and I didn't want to believe she'd cheat on me. Then one night I came home early from work. My gut told me to check. I'd been feeling uneasy for weeks, and I needed to see if there was any truth behind her lies. I was exhausted, physically and emotionally drained from everything that had happened. I slipped into the house quietly, trying not to make a sound. That's when I saw her phone on the coffee table. The screen was unlocked, and I saw a message from James. It wasn't just a work thing, it was more personal. There were words like, "Can't wait to see you tonight," and "Last time was so good, I want more." My stomach dropped. I couldn't believe my eyes. I stared at the screen in disbelief, reading the messages over and over, trying to process what I was seeing. She was planning to meet him that night. I couldn't even breathe. My mind raced. How long has this been going on? How many nights had she lied about working late? I felt this rage boil up inside me, but I also felt hollow, like I'd been punched in the gut. I took her phone and looked through her recent calls and messages. There were dozens of texts, all pointing to an affair. My wife, my partner in life, was sleeping with her boss. The guy I trusted to help us get through my brother's death was the same man she was cheating with. It sounded like a sick joke, but it was real. I was furious. I was devastated. I was lost. I didn't sleep that night. I just sat there on the couch with her phone in my hand, feeling every ounce of my world crumbling. I replayed everything: the late nights, the excuses, her bitchy attitude when I asked questions. I kept thinking about how she insisted she was just working late, how she snapped at me when I pushed for the truth. She always had an answer, a reason, a lie that I believed because I didn't want to see the truth. But now there it was, clear as day. She had been lying to my face, sneaking around, betraying everything we had built. I knew I had to confront her. I couldn't keep pretending I didn't know. I didn't want to be the guy who got cheated on and did nothing. It was late, and I decided to wait for her to come home from whatever work meeting she claimed she had. When she finally walked through the door, I could see the defensive look in her eyes. She knew I'd found out. I just looked at her, silent, clutching her phone. "Who is James?" I asked, my voice trembling. She rolled her eyes, trying to brush it off. "It's just my boss, Jack. We're working on a project, that's all," she said. Her tone defensive, bitchy even. I didn't buy it. I told her I knew about the messages, about the plans to meet tonight. Her face contorted with anger and frustration. "You're overreacting. It's nothing, just some stupid work thing. You're paranoid, always accusing me of stuff that isn't real." I couldn't believe her. She was lying right to my face again and again. I asked her how many nights she had been sneaking around. She snapped at me, saying I was crazy, that I was imagining things. "You're just insecure," she spat, her voice dripping with contempt. But I saw the guilt behind her eyes, the way she fidgeted, the way her hands trembled when she tried to deny everything. I could tell she was trying to cover her tracks, but she was terrible at hiding her guilt. That's when I decided I'd had enough. I told her I needed some time to process, that I wasn't sure what to believe anymore. She stormed off, calling me paranoid and accusing me of trying to ruin her career. But I knew the truth now. Everything made sense: her secretive behavior, her attitude, the late nights, the lies. Her bitchy, defensive reactions were just her trying to cover the guilt. I was angry, yes, but more than anything, I was hurt. How could she do this to me? After everything we went through, she was sleeping with her boss, James, who I used to trust. I kept thinking about the man who was supposed to be helping us, and he was the one she was hiding this from. It felt like the whole world was crashing down around me. I decided I wouldn't let her get away with it. I started planning my next move. I needed proof, real proof, that I could show her. I knew I couldn't keep living in this state of uncertainty. I had to do something drastic. I started digging through her emails, her social media accounts, anything I could find that would confirm what I already knew. I was determined to catch her, to prove to myself that I wasn't crazy, that this wasn't some nightmare I was waking up from. I didn't want to be the fool anymore. And that's when I realized I had to take control of the situation, no matter how much it was going to hurt. The more I looked, the more I found. I spent the next day digging through her stuff, trying to gather enough evidence to confront her properly. Every message, every email, every text from James confirmed what I already suspected. This wasn't just some work fling or a one-time thing. It was a full-blown affair. They'd been sneaking around for months, probably even before the funeral. The worst part was knowing that she'd lied to my face so many times, that she'd betrayed me and made me doubt myself for so long. I felt like I was losing my mind. The anger and pain were so overwhelming, I couldn't focus on anything else. I kept asking myself how she could do this to me, how she could be so callous, so bitchy about everything. She always acted like she was the victim, like I was the one overreacting. But now I saw her true colors. She was selfish, manipulative, and a master at lying. I thought about confronting her again, but I knew it had to be done carefully. I didn't want her to get ahead of me or spin some bullshit story to save her own ass. That night, I waited until she came home. I wanted her to think I didn't know anything yet. I wanted her to feel safe, then I dropped the bomb. When she walked in, I was already sitting on the couch, her phone in my hand. She looked surprised, maybe even nervous. I just looked at her and said, "We need to talk." Her face turned defensive immediately. "What now? I told you I was working late," she snapped, trying to brush past me. I stopped her with a firm voice. "No, Lisa, we need to talk about James. About the messages, about the times you lied to me." Her eyes widened and she stammered. "It's not what you think, you're overreacting, I don't know what you're talking about." But I had enough. I handed her phone back, showing her the messages I'd found. Her expression darkened and she started to get angry. "You're crazy, you've been spying on me, this is all a mistake," she said, voice rising. I just shook my head. "No, Lisa, you're the one who's been cheating, I saw everything. The late nights, the plans, the texts. You've been sleeping with James, haven't you?" She looked furious now. "You don't get to accuse me of everything. I was just working. You're imagining things like always." But I saw through her bullshit. I could see her guilt, her shame. It was written all over her face. I felt a cold wave of betrayal wash over me. How could she sit there and lie to my face after everything we've been through? I wanted to scream, to shake her, to make her admit what she'd done. But I held back, knowing that whatever I said next could change everything. That night I just sat there, staring at her, feeling like I'd lost my best friend and partner all at once. I felt empty, betrayed, stupid for ever trusting her. I thought about the times she called me insecure, crazy even, for questioning her. Now I knew she was the one who'd been lying, cheating, sneaking around behind my back. The betrayal was like a punch in the gut every time I remembered her bitchy attitude, her dismissive comments, how she always insisted she was just working late, when I knew she was with James. The hurt was so raw, I didn't know how I'd move forward from this. I thought about what to do next, whether to confront her again, to pack my bags, or just sit here drowning in my own heartbreak. Everything was up in the air and I felt powerless. I just wanted this nightmare to end. The next morning I woke up feeling like I'd been hit by a truck. The weight of everything hit me hard, her betrayal, the lies, the fact that I'd trusted her for so long. I knew I couldn't keep living in this limbo. I had to decide what to do. Part of me wanted to confront her again, demand answers, maybe even yell at her. But deep down, I knew I needed a plan, something calculated. I couldn't just blow up my life without thinking it through. I spent the day gathering everything I had, trying to stay calm. I emailed her boss, James, under a false account, just to see what he'd say. The reply was as expected. He denied everything, called me paranoid and jealous, and tried to make it sound like I was the problem. It didn't work. I knew better. I also started looking into her schedule, her phone records, anything that could give me an upper hand. I wasn't going to let her spin her lies anymore. I was going to make her face the consequences. That evening, I sat her down again when she got home. This was it. I told her I knew everything, that I was done playing her game. I said I needed her to be honest for once. She looked at me with that smug, bitchy smirk, trying to act innocent. "You're really overreacting," she said, trying to minimize everything. But I was sick of her bullshit. I pulled out the evidence, the texts, the emails I'd hacked into, the photos I'd secretly taken of her phone screen when she wasn't paying attention. Her face twisted with rage and defiance. "You're crazy," she spat. "You don't know what you're talking about. This is all just some stupid misunderstanding." I was tired of her lies. I told her she had one last chance to come clean. I asked her to tell me the truth. Had she been sleeping with James? She hesitated for a long moment, then finally burst out, "Yes, I've been sleeping with him. It's more than just work. I love him, okay? I didn't mean for you to find out like this." Hearing those words was like a punch in the stomach. I felt numb. My mind was racing, all the things I'd trusted, all the hopes I'd had for us. She didn't give a shit about the pain she'd caused. She just admitted it like she was proud of it. I couldn't believe how cold she was. The bitchy attitude, the lies, the sneaking around, it all made sense now. She'd been using me, manipulating me, and making me doubt myself while she was out sleeping with her boss. I realized I had been stupid for trusting her, for believing she was just working late. That night after she went to bed, I sat there staring at the wall, trying to process everything. I knew I couldn't keep living like this. I had to make a decision. Part of me wanted to leave right then, pack my bags and walk out. But I also wanted to make her pay for what she'd done. I decided I'd set a trap, something to catch her in the act if she tried to deny it again. I wasn't going to let her walk all over me, not anymore. I had to reclaim some control over my life, even if it meant hurting her back. I just hoped I had the strength to follow through. The following days were a blur of planning and inner turmoil. I spent every free moment thinking about the best way to execute my revenge. I knew I wasn't just going to confront her again and hope she'd confess. I needed proof that would destroy her lies once and for all. I started planting tiny cameras around the house, hidden in lamps, behind picture frames, even inside her favorite book. I wanted to catch her in the act if she tried to deny it again, and I also wanted to see her with James, to get something concrete that would make her realize she couldn't lie her way out of this. Meanwhile, I kept myself busy with work, pretending everything was normal, even though inside I was falling apart. Every time I saw her bitchy smirk or her dismissive attitude, I felt this surge of rage. She was so good at manipulating, so good at pretending she was innocent. I could believe I'd ever trusted her. The betrayal cut deeper than I thought possible. I kept replaying all the moments I overlooked, her secretive phone calls, her quick excuses about working late, her angry attitude whenever I questioned her. One night I decided it was time. I set everything up, hidden cameras pointed at the bedroom door, the living room, even the spot where she usually kept her phone. I wanted irrefutable proof. My stomach was twisted with anxiety, but I knew I couldn't keep living in this limbo. I was ready to confront her once and for all. That evening she came home looking irritated from the start. She was bitchy, snapping at me for no reason, trying to brush off my questions. I played it cool, acting like I didn't know what she was up to. Then I casually suggested we watch a movie, and I left the cameras rolling. I kept my composure as much as I could, pretending everything was normal, but inside I was brimming with anticipation. I knew I was about to get the proof I needed to end this nightmare. Suddenly, her phone buzzed. She looked at it, gave a little smirk, then quietly slipped away to the bedroom. I watched through the hidden camera, heart pounding. Her phone lit up with a message from James, a new one saying, "Can't wait to see you again tonight, I miss you so much." She responded with a quick "me too" and a kiss emoji. That was it. I had everything I needed. The proof was right there. She was cheating on me with her boss, James. The rage and heartbreak hit me all at once. I knew I couldn't stay quiet anymore. I had to decide what to do next. I felt betrayed, furious, and completely broken. But I also knew I had to take control. No more lies, no more secrets. The time had come to make her face what she had done. I just didn't know how I'd find the strength to do it or what the fallout would be. All I knew was I wasn't going to let her hurt me like this anymore. That night, I finally had everything laid out in front of me. Her messages, the hidden cameras, the proof that she'd been lying and cheating right under my nose. I felt like I was in a war zone, caught between heartbreak and rage. I knew I couldn't stay silent anymore. I had to face her, had to confront her with everything I'd uncovered. I waited until she was asleep, then quietly crept into the bedroom, holding the phone with all the evidence I'd gathered. When she woke up and saw me standing there, her bitchy smirk immediately shifted into a look of shock and defiance. "What are you doing?" she demanded, trying to cover herself, trying to act like she didn't know what I was about to say. I just looked at her, my voice cold and steady. "You've been sleeping with James. I saw the messages. I saw the videos. It's over, Lisa." Her face twisted with anger, then with a kind of contempt that made my stomach churn. "You're crazy. You have no idea what you're talking about," she spat, but I didn't buy her bullshit anymore. I laid out all the evidence, her messages, the times she'd slipped away, her lies. I told her I knew exactly how long this had been going on, how she'd betrayed everything we built, everything I believed in. Her bitchy attitude turned into full-blown rage, screaming at me, calling me insecure and jealous. She tried to deny everything, but I had the proof. I pressed the phone into her hand and told her to look at herself. That was the moment she lost her composure. Her eyes darted around, and she finally broke down, screaming that she didn't love me anymore, that she only wanted James, that she was done pretending. The realization hit me like a sledgehammer. I felt this strange mix of relief and devastation. Relief because I finally knew the truth and could start to move on, but devastation because the woman I loved, the woman I thought loved me back, had been sleeping with her boss and lying to my face for months. I knew I had to decide whether to fight for this marriage or walk away. Deep down, I knew the answer. There was no coming back from this. Trust was shattered and she had made her choice. I gathered my things and left that night. I didn't yell, didn't scream, I just walked out, feeling emptier than I ever had in my life. As I drove away, I kept replaying everything in my mind. The betrayal, her bitchy attitude, the lies. I realized I'd been stupid for trusting her so blindly, but I also felt a strange sense of clarity. Sometimes, the only way to heal is to cut out what's toxic. In the end, I learned a lot from this heartbreak. I learned that trust is fragile, that some people will betray you in ways you never expect, and that revenge sometimes just means walking away with your dignity intact. I don't know what the future holds, but I know I'm better off without her. And if there's one thing I want others to take from this, don't ignore the signs, don't let someone manipulate you, and never stay in a situation where the love has died, especially when betrayal is involved. Trust is earned every day, and once it's broken, it's nearly impossible to fix.